It's Wednesday, October 22nd. You're watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. We have a great show for you today. I'm your host here, Jason Cooper, alongside my producer, Jacob Gramegna. And we're excited to get into this show. 2 more days until Game 1 of the World Series. No World Series talk today, though. We've had enough jibber-jabber about our Jays. We're going to look to get into some college football today. Oh, and by the way, NBA started yesterday. Absolutely loaded slate tonight. I believe there is 12 games. Jacob, you looking forward to this?
Oh, yeah. NBA's back. Yesterday was great. Awesome game between the Thunder and the Rockets to open up the season. I mean, you couldn't really ask for a much better start to the season, so fired up for today.
Yeah, and I don't want to bury the lead here. Pips is going to come on, as well as Kirk Evans. We're going to be both talking NBA with both those guys, as well. Brad Powers is going to come on and talk college football. Love the new lower third. Looks great. Great addition, great ad. But Monday, when Pips came on, we got to give him his flowers. Talked about the Rockets. Rockets almost won that game outright. Went to OT.
They should have won.
The Kevin Durant timeout was a big mistake as well. Feel like fantastic read on that game. I don't know, was it Drew as well, talking about how the length of the Rockets is going to pose a problem for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Anyways, super sharp NBA guys coming on the show to talk. And then also, I believe it was also Pips who said that doesn't understand why Golden State isn't favored by more. Ended up closing, I think it was, game was at like minus 140, closed at like close to 125 for Golden State. Ended up absolutely smoking the Lakers. Chat messages. We see you guys. Thank you. Sound is great. Don't thank me. Thank Jacob. Working hard behind the scenes to make sure everything works and looks great. But yeah, a quick reminder. We hear all your comments. We read all your feedback. And I don't think there's a better testament to that than us listening to you guys. You spoke. We heard. Edgework is back. Every Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you missed it yesterday, it's going to be on again tomorrow. Edgework Overtime is live right here on the Hammer Daily. 1 p.m. Eastern time is when we'll probably bring those guys in. Maybe we'll go a little bit late depending on how tame they are. I'll be joined by a couple of panelists. Yesterday was Albert and Moretto. Hopefully tomorrow we get some money on the show, the real heavy hitter. But if not, we're going to have to deal with Matt Albert again, which is a tough one. But yeah, mostly those three. Sometimes we'll have some other great guests every Tuesday and Thursdays here on the Hammer Daily. You're going to want to tune in. You're going to want to watch it. And yeah, great stuff. So excited to get into today's show. Before we get into today's show, though, do us a quick favor. Smash the like button. Goes a long way here on the channel. And if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button as well. This is a question from Chosen Sports. I'm going to direct it towards Jacob, though. How bad are the Suns going to be this year?
Oh, my God. I was talking about it on a show yesterday, but the Suns are just like a diabolical team. And it's going to be one of the worst games of the season, I think, when you have the Suns and the Kings, like two of the most horribly constructed rosters in the NBA. I think the Suns are going to be very bad, but I think their win total is like 30.5, and I would actually kind of lean over that just because like they have no incentive to tank whatsoever. Mm-hmm. They're going to be trying to win as many games as possible. They still have like some talented players. It's just a horrible mismatch of players. I described them as a Frankenstein's monster type of team. It's horrible. They can't do anything about how bad the roster construction is either. So they're not going to make the playoffs, but I don't think they'll be one of the bottom feeders.
Yeah, so it's funny that you say that. They're favorites tonight, -4, -110 over on FanDuel, +154 if you like the Sacramento Kings, which it looks like Chosen Sports likes behind the scenes there. Like I mentioned, got a great lineup for you. Brad Powers will kick us off. Talk college football. I love talking to Brad. I want to try and get him in here as often as possible because great college football mind. I don't think anyone puts in as much work as he does. Just overall ball knower. And I love that we were simpatico on the Monday show. If you guys missed Hit the Books on Monday. On the Hammer Daily, we talked to Corby saying Ohio State is maybe the most underrated team in the country, which doesn't really make sense. They're the best team in the country, but I was vindicated when Brad Powers went on Hit the Books and said the exact same thing. So I feel like directionally I'm starting to get a little bit better with college football. Anyways, he's a massive college football bettor. He's a massive college football knower. You've seen him on Hit the Books HQ every Monday and Friday and Saturday as well. Brad Powers. Brad, how's it going?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into today's show. A couple things I want to talk about is I want to talk about obviously this week of games, but I want to use this as this week games to like sort of look ahead, look towards the college football playoffs, look towards some conference championship winners, and I want to kick things off with USF taking on Memphis. Memphis got, I think it was a shocking loss for Memphis last week, and I think the market kind of is super down on them right now. Memphis plus 5.5 at home to USF. Totals at 63.5. Are you in agreement with this market move of or ranking of Memphis here? Did you knock them down as much as the market did as well? This is kind of like almost an eliminator for the college football playoffs, where if USF or Memphis loses, chances are one of those teams, their chances of making the playoffs is pretty much down and out. Memphis also plays Navy in their final game, so they kind of control their fate here. What are your thoughts on this game, first of all, and then just your opinion on Memphis to make the playoffs, which is priced at plus 920 right now, which is pretty long, but they control their fate.
Yeah, I think, some of the, a major part of the move here this week, and keep in mind, I mean, a look ahead had Memphis favored in this one, but obviously a liquid market compared to the NFL look aheads. But not only the loss outright as a 23.5 point favorite to UAB, but more importantly, why I think there's been a massive move here is Nevada. He used to play at Nevada. Brendan Lewis, the quarterback in Memphis, who was Nevada starter last year. He got banged up last week. I think he's 50-50 at best to play in this game. So if he doesn't play, and if you think, that line's pretty high for, it seems inflated, I'm here to tell you it's going to go even higher as far as South Florida. So I agree with the move here. I think South Florida is the best Group of 5 team out there. They've proven it week after week after week, starting with the season opener against Boise, the upset over Florida. Their only losses to Miami. They shouldn't be docked for that one. They went on the road to North Texas, dominated that one. I think they could dominate here. I mean, what they've done in the run game the last 4 games, they've outrushed their opponent by an average of 4 yards per carry if you're looking at yards per carry margin. So I think they go in and take care of business here.
Yeah, South Florida right now priced to make the college football playoffs. So that's how I like to look at the Group of 5. Because listen, I'm not as in depth as you are, Brad, with all these games. I like to flick them on, watch a couple of them, but I know that you watch almost everything and you're covering almost everything here. But I like to use it with context of the college football playoffs. Right now, South Florida plus 140 to make the college football playoffs. You're maybe probably too short for me to take them.
Yeah, that's too short. That's too pricey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but any thoughts on if Memphis wins this game, this is kind of where I'm looking at. Memphis is plus 920. Their schedule is definitely tough, but if they win this game, they play their last game of the season is against Navy, who is currently undefeated. If they can win both of those games, this feels like a maybe. If you ever want in on Memphis to make the college football playoffs, this is the entry point. Now, but again, it's going to be the status of the quarterback here. Let's say their quarterback is playing. Would you click Memphis at plus 920?
I already have Memphis to make the playoff from the preseason, so I probably won't click it again. But you're right, it's advantageous. One of the big reasons why you had to like Memphis is they got these key games all at home. Not only South Florida this week, you mentioned the Navy game, but also a key game against Tulane they get at home. So, and the Liberty Bowl is where they play, and they've been very good at home. Look no further than them upsetting Arkansas earlier this year at home. It's not screaming value to me because I honestly, even if Lewis plays, I don't think they beat South Florida. I just think South Florida is starting to separate themselves from even the rest of the American.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are the Group of 5 team, it looks like. Let's flip over and talk some more familiar teams, some bigger teams, some blue buds here. Ole Miss taking on Oklahoma. Oklahoma 5.5 point favorites here at home. Total sitting at 54.5. Ole Miss coming off their first loss of the season. Are they going to? It seems like market is saying they're going back-to-back losses here. John Mateer didn't look good against Texas, obviously coming off that injury. Little bit of a bounce-back game against South Carolina. Give me a breakdown in this game and what you've thought of Mateer over the last 2 weeks, if you've seen him progress and look a little bit better, or do you think this is maybe an injury that's going to linger as the season continues?
Well, he did look better last week just from the fact that, limited the turnovers, which, was a terrible look for him against Texas. And a major reason why Oklahoma lost that game to Texas. But they cleaned it up last week. I would say the most trustworthy commodity in this matchup is Oklahoma's defense, ranks number 1 in the country in yards per play allowed, number 1 in total defense. When you got a matchup against a really good offense versus really good defense, there was this quote from Saban 5-6 years ago. It says good offense beats good defense. Now, I don't know in this, when they're playing the too high safety look, I think, similar to the NFL, I actually think it's changed again now. 5-6 years later, after Saban made that comment, where I think good defense can slow down at least this Ole Miss offense. We saw it in the fourth quarter against Georgia after they went up and down the field. I think Oklahoma's a sharp play here. I didn't get to the window, side or total. I could lean under, but I think we're going to continue to see over money after that total took a ton of money last week, Ole Miss, Georgia, and flew over the total. So I'm anxious to see where the total closes up here, but I do think Oklahoma's deservedly favorite, and I'd be surprised if Ole Miss won this one outright. In the weeds, I think Lane Kiffin's going to be the next coach at Florida, and he's not a coach that handles distractions very well. So keep an eye on that with regards to Ole Miss down the stretch.
What makes you say that he, just quickly, the total, like you mentioned, opened up a little bit lower, I think around 50, 51.5. It's moved all the way up, like we said, to 54.5. What makes you think that he's going to head to Florida? Is it just because, what's the driving factor here for you?
Florida's obviously a better job for starters. He idolized the old ball coach, Steve Spurrier, growing up. So, a chance to get Florida back to those, offensive days. And then, Florida's got a little bit more money. They got a lot more fan support. And I think that's what's irking him a little bit at Ole Miss. He's mentioned this numerous times over the last few years, but just 2 weeks ago, they got a home game against Washington State. They got like 35, 40,000 people in the stands. That doesn't scream big time SEC football. So I think that irks him a little bit.
All right. Makes perfect sense here. Keep your eye out there especially if you're a Florida fan. A&M taking on LSU. Let's move over to the next game that I want to cover here. LSU, 2.5-point underdogs at home. Total's at 47.5. A&M, one of the few remaining undefeated teams. Listen, I tend to be wrong about these things. I'm still trying to get a feel for college football. I don't make my own power range. It just feels like this number is too short, under a field goal, and I struggle with home field advantage as well. Do you feel like A&M under a field goal is slightly too short here against this LSU team? What are your thoughts on this game?
Well, let's talk home field advantage here because I think this is important. I would argue that LSU at night at home is you got to award the biggest amount of home field advantage in any, maybe white out Penn State, but I would argue that LSU has proven to be even more worthy of significant home field edge. And Brian Kelly, who struggled at LSU, they want him gone. He's only lost one game at home at night last year against Alabama. That's it in the 4 years. So make sure you're giving more than 3. If you're ever going to give more than 3 of home field, this would be the spot here. I don't like Brian Kelly, don't like this LSU team, but the market's telling you that LSU is probably the sharper side. That's, I got it power rated 2.5, so I don't have a bet at current, but if it goes to 3, I'd actually be interested in LSU.
Wow, that's interesting. All right, I was way off with that one. I thought, listen, I'm just impressed with A&M, unimpressed with LSU, so that's kind of where I was lying with this game. Flip over, let's talk Syracuse, Georgia Tech, another undefeated team here. I want to tie this into the Stanford-Miami game as well. Georgia Tech 17.5 at home against Syracuse, total at 52.5. Stanford at Miami, Miami 30.5. Total is at 45.5 here. I want to take a step back and take a look at who's going to win the ACC. Miami obviously coming off of that loss gets a little bit of a tick down in market, but in terms of like strength of team, I think Miami is still a better team than Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech right now is plus 230 to make to win the ACC. Miami plus 260. I really just don't see the path of resistance for Miami if they were to make the ACC conference finals. Do you like either of these numbers here? Do you have an opinion here, or do you have an opinion on any of these games?
Well, it's super complicated. So I agree with you as far as, Miami's clearly better than Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's number 7 in the AP poll. I have Georgia Tech number 28, 28 in my power ratings. So, and Miami's 8 even after the loss to Louisville. So, if there's somehow Miami gets in an ACC championship game, I don't care who they're playing, they're going to be a significant favorite. The problem is they don't have a clear path to make the ACC championship game. It's just not like one team in front of them. It's a multitude of teams. Let's start with Georgia Tech, who we're talking about here. Georgia Tech's going to be favored in all their remaining games. Doesn't mean they'll win them all, but their surefire loss was last week against Duke, where they were 3.5-point underdog. They won the game. So I know they still play Georgia, but that doesn't impact the ACC conference standing. So they're going to have to get upset for them to get knocked out in favor of Miami. There's two other teams. Virginia, yeah, they lost to NC State, but it's in the weeds. That was a non-conference game, believe it or not. It doesn't count in the ACC standings. So Miami needs Virginia to lose. Virginia will probably be favored in all but one of their remaining games. It's at Duke, and it's a short underdog role, so not a slam dunk that Virginia loses the game. And then the team that just beat Miami, Louisville, is now ahead of Miami because they own the head-to-head tiebreaker, and Louisville is going to be ahead, going to be favored in all their remaining games. So the reason that is priced like that is Miami does not control their own destiny, even if they win out, and I don't trust them to win out. They got to go at SMU and at Pitt. So, they're really up against it now in Miami. All of a sudden after just one result.
Yeah, it's crazy. Things are looking bleak for Miami here, but maybe 260 is still a little short.
If they make it, that's a great price.
Exactly,
if you want to jump in front of it now, I have Miami in pocket already to win the ACC. I'm hoping that they get to the conference title game.
Yeah, it's just the parlay that you might need for them to make it might be a little bit tough, but hey, it's college football. We've seen crazier things happen here. Let's flip over. I want to talk about the BYU and Ohio State. Another undefeated. The theme of this week for me has been undefeated teams. BYU, Iowa State 2.5 point favorites at home. Totals 48.5. Oklahoma State at Texas Tech 37.5 points. Texas Tech laying 37.5 points at home, 56.5 total. And then Houston at Arizona State. Arizona 7.5 point favorites here, 46.5. Let's talk about them to win the Big 12 because BYU's plus 600, Arizona State plus 470, Texas Tech minus 105. We saw Texas Tech kind of take a step back after that loss to Arizona State last week. Do you still firmly believe Texas Tech is still the best team here? Any thoughts on Arizona and BYU? Do you think they should be a little bit closer in terms of odds, just with the path and the road that these teams have to take to Texas Tech to win their conference?
Yeah, I still would favor Texas Tech by at least a touchdown over anybody else on a neutral field. The one caveat is they got to get their starting quarterback healthy, who's has a ton of career injury history. Baron Morton's his name. Will Hammond was the starter last week. Struggled a little bit until late in the game. If they get him healthy, boy, Tech, it's tough for me to see them losing a game. And then you look at the remaining of their schedule. They host BYU. They'll be more than a touchdown favorite in that one. I'm not sold on BYU because I think they lose this week. But if you want to diversify the portfolio, hey, I like BYU this week against Iowa State. Then I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't bet them to win the conference and diversify the portfolio. Because if they happen to beat Iowa State, then they got a decent path to make the Big 12 championship game. Even if they were to lose to Texas Tech the week after that, it's just from a price aspect. I think you might have bad BYU tickets here if we talked 2 weeks from now, because I think they're overrated. I think they're fortunate to be undefeated. The schedule gets a lot tougher. Obviously started last week against Utah, a game that kudos, they won the game outright, but man, it was more Utah mismanagement in the red zone than anything there. I think BYU is going to lose their next two games, so I wouldn't make that bet. I do think Arizona State's a team that could bounce back, but can they beat Texas Tech twice in the same season? I have my doubts on that. So I would actually bet Tech to win the conference right now. That seems that's certainly a much better price than what you had a week ago.
Yeah. And
I don't think that price is getting any cheaper because they're going to be a significant favorite down the stretch here.
Yeah. All right. I just had to ask you about that. I'm going to flip over, ask a couple chat questions here. Holt 5630 asking, any lean in Conference USA futures markets after a Western Kentucky upset last night?
That was a wild night. So, Western Kentucky's starting quarterback gets ruled out. Line moves 3-4 points, and then they win the game outright with the backup who looks very capable, mobile, and had a good night throwing. I think the two teams that won last night are your two, slam dunk teams that I expect to probably play for Conference USA, the title. Kennesaw State being the other one. Very impressive road win at FIU last week. But it changes on a week-to-week basis here. But I am with each data point, you get a little bit more confident. And Western Kentucky has one outlier loss. That was last week to FIU. I think, provided they get their quarterback back, they're going to face Kennesaw State. And who would I prefer in that matchup? I'd probably trust the more proven commodity, Western Kentucky.
All right, Western Kentucky plus 230 to win the Conference USA. Kennesaw State plus 165. Take that wherever you like, chat. Before you head out here, Brad, we have a couple games on tonight, tomorrow, and for Friday. Anything you like in these midweek college football games?
I have bet stuff. You know that.
Okay.
One bet that I made, and it still has the same number, Cal plus 4.5. Don't love the spot for them traveling across the country, but I mean, they got a lot more to play for. Then Virginia Tech team with an interim coach is playing out the season. They have multiple defensive guys in the portal, ain't going to play the rest of the season. They're off a bye, and I think when you have an interim coach, substitute teacher, are you really focused on preparing for the final leg of the season, or are you focused on, hey, where am I going to be playing next year? It's assistant coaches too. Where am I going to be coaching? Am I going to be moving the family? So I don't like the bye week for Virginia Tech in that regard. So give me Cal plus 4.5. All
right, Cal plus 4.5. You can find that minus 114 at FanDuel. There's some better prices out there. There's even a minus 104, minus 110s, minus 109s on Cal, and this is for the Friday night game.
Yep.
So give you a little bit of fun on a Friday night. Brad, we appreciate you. Thank you for joining the show. You can catch Brad. Next time you'll be able to see him is on Friday over on Hit the Books. Unfortunately, I'm not the one producing it. Or maybe fortunately for you, Brad, you tell me.
We love Barb.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Brad, appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
All right. Take care.
All right. See ya. Awesome stuff there from Brad. Appreciate it. If you want to follow Brad on Twitter, which I feel like all of you already are, but if not, check the link in the description down below. You can find his Twitter link there. Up next, we have someone who was in the chat today, and my headphones keep falling off. Sorry that I keep adjusting these guys. This is crazy. I don't know what's wrong with my head shape today. Got Pips coming up. He was in the chat earlier today asking you guys what you think about the slate. Please feel free to drop questions in the chat as the show goes along. Before we bring up Pips, I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors over at FanDuel. Hockey is back, and FanDuel is giving you a shot at boosted winnings when you make a bet on all the action on the rink, because right now all customers have a chance to score big with a 50% profit boost. Just make your pick, apply the boost, and if it hits, you'll get extra winnings at no extra cost. And with FanDuel, you can bet on goal scorers, assists, points, saves, and so much more. Plus, you'll get paid your winnings instantly. Ready to play your game? Just visit FanDuel.com/forward progress to get in on the action. That's FanDuel.com/forward progress to claim your 50% profit boost. You can score big on your next hockey bet with FanDuel, an official partner of the NHL. Please play responsibly. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, 19 plus and physically located in Ontario, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit rghelp.com. Call 1-888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/China in Connecticut, or visit amdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY, or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call Connex Ontario at 1-866-531-2600, or visit connexontario.ca. All right, let's see those questions in the chat here. We're going to be talking about this massive, loaded 12-game NBA slate. He's an NBA props originator. He's co-founder of Prop Madness, and he's the number one fans. What am I trying to say here? The chat loves him. That's all I'm trying to say. Pips, how's it going?
Hey man, what's up?
Sorry.
Yeah.
A big fumble for me off the start here. Sorry about that one. I couldn't mix mixing my words up. Can't get my words straight, but it's all good because you're here to save the show. Quickly, I mentioned it off the hop. I gave you your flowers, but I got to give you your flowers now when you're here with us. You talked about you're bang on for both the Rockets and Oklahoma City Thunder game and the Warriors and Lakers games. You felt like the Rockets were not short enough, too big of a spread there, facing off against OKC. And then you said the same thing about the Warriors, or the inverse about the Warriors, where they should be probably a little bit bigger favorites. So want to give you your flowers here. So there you go. Anything you want to comment where you saw any of the line movement pregame? Any opinions there?
Yeah, so I was like surprised that seeing 7.5 for Houston against OKC without J-Dub. First game of the season, opening on the NBC. Big night, huge minutes for entire Rockets team. While Mike played like 11 deep. So yeah, this game meant a lot to the Houston. So I expected them to play hard as they did. Huge troubles for them without Fred VanVleet getting into the set, starting the like ball handling, guard ball handling. But yeah, great game. One of the best opening night game I ever watched. Will be up there, probably top 10 games of the season, or maybe not. Maybe we get some great games. But yeah, set 7.5 looks a bit big. Close 6.5. Went to double overtime. They lost by 1. Then the one that I had a feeling that it's way too undervalued is the money line on the straight win for the Golden State Warriors. I think it was minus 125. I expected Jimmy to play, and honestly, Lakers look a bit of mess to me. Wouldn't be surprised if they actually don't make the playoffs this season.
Wow.
And yeah, so I'm a bit high on Golden State Warriors and a bit lower on Lakers. So expected Golden State to thrive, and they blow them out. So yeah.
Yeah, big win there for Golden State. Sad to see that your Houston Rockets lost, though. I was rooting for you down the stretch. You guys almost had it. You almost had it, but that's part of the NBA. Regardless, go ahead.
Yeah, combination of inexperience for Rich Shepard, even though I expected him to struggle early into the season, as I said, and being positive post All-Star. And KD, the most experienced guy on the court, made 2 big mistakes. Almost made third one with timeout call that they didn't. They didn't catch that one.
Yeah.
That will be a god awful. But yeah, overall, great opening day. A great one from my bets as well. So I think I said Laravia on the show, and Shepard covered Laravia didn't. So yeah.
All right, sounds good. Alperen Sengun as well looked incredible. So that's your boy. That's your guy. Happy to see that. Let's get into tonight's NBA slate, though. There's 12 games, kind of wide open here. Which game you have a couple props prepared here. Which game you want to start with?
First one. I think it's Knopel, a young rookie for the Hornets. I like his under on 4.5 rebounds. He's going to play. Like even at the college, he was like averaging 3.5 a game, and wasn't great defensive rebounder. Like I think he's like 15th percentile defensive rebounder. And now he's on the team with LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges, Diabate, another rookie, TJ Salawan, and like Mason Plumlee will be there. Like there are so many guys ahead of him on the rebounds. So I think this line should be like 3.5, and still a bit like juiced on the under. I think this is off. I think you can get these at minus 115 on couple of spots, and as expected, already juiced on FanDuel. So
Con Knuppel, 4.5 rebounds towards the under. It's minus 144 on FanDuel. FanDuel's usually pretty sharp with these player props, but widely available, minus 115, minus 120s out there as well. So if you like it, you obviously should be shopping around for that one. Up next, you have another prop. Just lay it out for us here.
Yeah, second one, Tomani Kamara under 12.5 points. I just think not a great matchup for him, and this line is something I look forward to actually. Like big difference between 12.5 and 11.5 for someone that shoots 3 mostly, and he's scoring most of his points as a spot up in transition. Wolves kind of a slightly bit above average in transition, but they are great in spot up, playing the Gobert in drop coverage and not helping much from the corners. So they are not allowing a ton of spot up threes. 40% of his points come from spot up, 20% from in transition, and he's scoring 40% at the rim, and he'll get matched up there. Like when he gets there, Rudy Gobert will there to contest. So a rough matchup, and I don't see his usage being that high with healthy. Healthy first game of the season, but I know guys like Shadon Sharp, Avdia, and Jeremy Grant will shoot the lights out and will have a huge usage. So Tomani will probably be like transition finisher, a spot up guy. So I think 12.5 here is a bit of a 1.2 high of a line in my opinion.
Okay, 12.5, a little bit too high. Again, FanDuel's hanging 11.5 juice
Play
to
this,
over.
play this. Play up to -120.
Okay, up to -120. I'm looking around -120, -115 is completely widely available. These numbers are all out there. There's even a -108 if you want, but I don't know how much you can bet at that shop over there. But yeah, Tomani, Kamara, under 12.5. And honestly, again, like I'm fully top down NBA better, so I'm still green to like understanding the NBA. The key number of 12.5. That's something I never even considered. Where like for a guy who mainly shoots threes. So
yeah, the biggest difference is usually 8.5 and a 9.5 for guys like I don't know Hauser or someone that like Sam Ariel, the guys that like shoot a ton of threes. So like these guys, like 85 to 90% of their volume is threes and like some layup from transition from steal. So yeah, big huge difference between 8.5 and 9.5.
All right, sweet. Tomani Kamara in the Minnesota and Portland game, you can find his points under 12.5 is what we're looking for. Anything up to -120 at 12.5. I believe you have one more prop for us. So I'll leave you the floor. Or did it move?
Yeah, I don't know. Let me just check some numbers.
All good.
Quickly. Yeah, I have like 27 bets for today placed, and I don't think I can find one more that didn't move.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of good for me, but not for the show. So
That's
just trying to see something. Okay, so one guy not widely available, so maybe not official bet, but I've seen it a couple of books. Zaire Williams from Brooklyn Nets have posted line on assist at 1.5. That's an under, up to -130 whenever you can find. Probably on some like softer books. That's why I'm not anything official, but if you have it, smash that number. I'll check something else. Julian Champagny, same thing from the San Antonio Spurs. I think under 1.5 assist is like plus 140, plus 145. So if you have that, also smash spot for that kind of number.
all right. Love it. Under 1.5, correct? 145.
Yeah, under both guys.
So Julian Champagne and Zaire Williams under 1.5 assists here. Listen, on this show, I think our audience is pretty smart. Obviously, have multiple books. So if the stuff's not listed at FanDuel, we always recommend you check out and shop around for the best price available. Any sides and totals you like? There's a couple questions in the chat that I want to get to, but I want to ask you this first. Any sides and totals you like on this slate of games today?
Yeah, I would be pretty like these lines are sharp. Like I don't think like this opened like I think a long time ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think these lines are sharp. But I could have maybe like one same game parlay for the on FanDuel. Something I like. Had slightly negative correlation, so I think it shouldn't have that much, but it's complicated, so I didn't calculate. But something fun to tell, I would say. It's from the game Hawks and Toronto Raptors. Like Hawks are my second favorite team behind Houston, so kind of big on them this season. So we'll see. But okay, if you can create some same game parlay live and then tell the price, that will be great.
All right.
I did that almost on every show with Jacob, and we had great success with it. So let's build something. Starting with it's Emmanuel quickly.
Okay.
Plus points and 4+.
How many points? Sorry, you said points for Emmanuel quickly?
Yeah, 15 plus points
15
and 4
plus points.
assists. Yeah.
All right, Emmanuel, quickly. I'm just building this right now. 15 plus points, and you said 4 plus rebounds?
Assists.
Assists.
Yeah.
And
then Atlanta Hawks money line.
Hawks money line. Oh no.
Yeah.
Not in front of Jacob. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I like the Hawks as well.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Maybe Jacob can join for some analysis. On
Yeah,
this
break
one.
it down for us.
Well, I mean, the Raptors, the obvious issue with the team this season is just they don't have enough spacing. Once again, you can sag off Scotty Barnes and camp in the paint. You can sag off Jakob Poeltl and camp in the paint, and there's not enough shooters to kind of alleviate that at all. And the Hawks are a bad matchup because of that, because they're a big team who are going to be really strong defensively this season. So I'm also pretty big on the Hawks, and I think they have a lot that they can use to stop the Raptors. So preseason didn't inspire a ton of confidence in the Raptors' half-court offense. So I have to tend to agree here.
Yeah. So first off, on the quickly part, so looking at the matchups for the team, wings for Hawks, Tyson Daniels, Zachary Sachet, Jalen Johnson. So RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes either have difficult matchup or like kind of okay matchup, not great. No one has great matchup. Like Scotty Barnes, Jalen Johnson, like they are. Jalen Johnson can match up with the size, even though I don't think he defends him. But overall, quickly will be guarded by Trae Young. Like, yeah, that's just how it needs to be in this game. And out of all of these guys, only quickly has a reliable pull-up shot. Kristaps Porzingis probably in a drop coverage, so quickly should have a higher usage than usually in this game. They need to attack Trae Young. They need to attack Kristaps Porzingis pull-up drop, and the only capable guy is quickly. So I'm high on quickly in this game, and also he'll have the ball much more than usually. And also for the part of the Hawks money line, watch every single game of Hawks and Raptors in the preseason. A lot of times I've seen from the Raptors like miscommunication, difficulty organizing offense, like Scotty Barnes and Ingram kind of not looking well together, like expected early. But it's first game of the season, so I'm betting against it. And my Hawks, I think, not my Hawks, but Hawks are looking great. Very deep team. Don't know, like always, careful about being too high on them because of the injuries. But having a great starting lineup and then 6th and 8 guy from the bench being Okongwu, Nicky Alexander-Volkov, one of my favorite role players in the league, and Luke Kennard. I don't think the Raptors can match that. And then obviously, also seen some very, very aggressive coverages from Raptors, like half-court pressure, blitzing, doubles. And if they do that against Trae Young, and he has great cutters like Dyson, like Jalen Johnson, and great shooters around him, that will be a complete failure. So yeah, really high on this bet.
All right, sounds good. Quickly to score 15 plus points, quickly to record 4 plus assists, and Hawks money line. You package that up together, get that at plus 215 over at FanDuel, and then you can also get a 50% profit boost at FanDuel as well. You can slap on that.
So I think quickly combination is minus 108. Hawks are minus 215. And you get like 15% a bump of negative correlation with quickly going over and Hawks winning. So I like that in this case.
Sounds good, Pips. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming on the show. You're going to see Pips on here every week, maybe even twice a week, depending on how Moretto is how much he's willing to bug you and book you here. I know the chat loves you. I know I love chatting NBA with you, and I'm excited to look forward to talk about the NBA throughout the season.
Yeah, I love coming on the show. So not every day, but twice a week sounds good.
Yeah, I'd love to do it twice a week. I'll talk with Alex about that. Before we head out, I forget who it was. Someone on the New York Knicks load management first game of the season. Any opinion on that in terms of just load management in general?
I mean,
Mitchell Robinson.
Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like just poor wording.
Yeah.
He obviously hurt. It's not injury management. I think Kirk, who is coming, had a great tweet on that one, saying that just NBA can't afford that, allowing teams to say injury management because fans are getting real pissed off with that stuff. So yeah, it's just horrible wording. So
Yeah.
he is obviously hurt. Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk to Kirk Evans about that, but usually he has terrible opinions and wanted to get your opinion on that first. So, anyways, Pips, I appreciate you joining the show. We'll talk soon.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
All right, see you, Pips. Have a good one. Great stuff there. Great stuff there from Pips. Yeah, love the SGP. I need to start bringing my phone in studio here so I can play these live because I always have to wait until after the show before I could play them. Was Kirk in the background there when he heard, or did he just join?
Yeah, I think he was in the back. I don't know if
you
he was
heard that?
listening,
Okay.
but he's in the back right now.
Okay, good. Happy to hear. I'm curious to hear. I don't want to post a poll in the chat because it would just be horrible if this happened. But I'm just praying that there's no hammering in the background today. Hopefully not. But anyways, let's bring him on. NBA better. If there's any construction noise going on, I'm gonna flip out. But anyways, Kirk, how's it going?
Doing good. There have been construction noises at points today, but much less bad. I don't think it's coming. I think we're okay.
Okay. Bang, 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 as we're about to hear it right now. Just kidding. Hopefully not. Kirk, appreciate you joining the show. Quickly, I just asked Pips before we headed off about Mitchell Robinson, load management tweet there. I know you had a tweet about it. Share your opinions on this.
Yeah, I heard you say I don't have good opinions. I know you're lying, but you can say it. I tweeted that the NBA can't allow this to happen. All the fans are kind of up in arms saying, "Oh, I can't believe Mitchell Robinson is load managing." He's not load managing. It makes no sense. He played the first 2 games of the preseason. He was practicing every day. They had him listed as a starter. There's a 0% chance he would be load managing game 1 with Josh Hart hurt. He missed 5 straight practices and a preseason game that they wanted him to play. He's hurt. I guess they just don't want to say he's hurt because I guess Mitch Rob has been hurt in his career and he just doesn't want out there that he's hurt again maybe, but he is very obviously hurt and it's just such a bad look on the league and it's such a easily avoidable problem considering he actually just is for sure hurt.
Yeah, I wonder if it's this is definitely more of a thing in hockey, but you don't want to reveal the injury. I don't know how much of that is a thing in basketball. I guess you could kind of take an advantage of if it's an ankle or a groin or a soft tissue injury in the lower body. But anyways, yeah, just thought it was funny to see load management first game of the season. But yeah, it seems like he's definitely hurt.
Yeah. And it's just such a triggering thing for fans. Fans fucking hate load managing.
Yeah.
And to see it in the first game, it's just embarrassing. It's just kind of unacceptable. And the league should tell the Knicks to not do that.
Of course. All right, let's get into the games then here. Anything you like in terms of a sides and totals perspective here? And any reaction? Let's take a step back first. Any reactions to the first 2 games we saw yesterday? Did it go as planned? Anything you were shocked about in terms of just game flow, game state, or players, how the players played?
Went to plan in terms of my bets won. Didn't go to plan in terms of Houston OKC got jammed against me and had to go to overtime to win. The over at least. But the Houston OKC game was awesome. That was a really fun game. Houston's probably the most interesting team in the league starting Adams and Şengün. It's really fascinating. I think Steven Adams played 37 minutes last night. So it's going to be interesting to see. They're clearly really betting on this 2 big stuff. Clint came off the bench as well. The 2 bigs have been amazing, but they've played amazing when they've played together, but they've played less together than you would think. They played nearly as much in the Warriors series last year than they did in the whole regular season. So I'm interested to see, as the league adjusts to it, how it goes. And also, can Steven Adams start and play, 25, 30 minutes a game? And also, can you kind of keep that intensity of the way Houston wins is a lot of effort and a lot of offensive rebounding. And, it worked really well in the playoffs against the Warriors, and they nearly came back by going to that lineup more. But I'm interested to see like how that's going to look in Game 35. But also, I think last night really confirmed that that's what they're going to have to do. I thought Reed Sheppard looked absolutely horrible. It was one of the worst defensive games I've seen. Just like, and even like the most casual fan could see that Reed Sheppard was just getting absolutely toasted on the perimeter. And like, yeah, it was from Shea sometimes, but like Lou Dort went through him a bunch of times and beat him on dribble moves. And it was clearly in OKC's game plan. So, no Fred. If Reed Sheppard, I just can't imagine Ime Udoka is going to want to play Reed Sheppard a lot with how he looked on D. And I don't think he was good offensively at all. The good news for them is that it probably was the hardest matchup in the league for them. For Reed specifically, they have so many good guard defenders and they play so physically. So, maybe he can be better, but he was really bad, and Houston's going to be an interesting team. And OKC, honestly, I thought looked really good all night, even when they were losing. I thought Houston was struggling to get into their offense, and OKC was missing a lot of open threes.
All right. Good coverage of the last that Houston Rockets game. I guess you don't really care too much about the Lakers Warriors game. We can just skip past that. Let's get into tonight's game here because I only have you for a couple more, like 15-ish more minutes. Anything you like in terms of side and totals, or you just want to dive into props?
Let's give a look to sides and totals. It's obviously tough. Like at this point in the day, it's hard to win. You can bet a lot of money on these games. These games have been up for a while. I have a bet on pretty much every single game on the board. So I'm not gonna say like there's an obvious good bet. If the bet that's probably I like the best that's being hit against me a little bit is I've played Clippers -8 to -9.5 was the worst number I took. I'm just so high on the Clippers. I think they're so good. I think they should be able to dominate these teams with how good their bench is as well. Utah, again, I don't think it is. They're not as horrible as their 18.5 win total, but they're obviously one of the bottom 3 teams in the league. The Clippers also had a really, really good preseason. Everyone's healthy. The Jazz had quite a bad preseason with Laurie, I think, played 1 preseason game. Walker Kessler, or Laurie maybe played 2, Walker Kessler played 1. So yeah, if I were to take a side, it would probably be Clippers 9.5, and we're going to talk about the game more in props. I think if you could get a good number on the Knicks right now, even though I'm a huge Cavs believer, I think this price has maybe gone a little out of hand with the injuries. That's assuming Cat's going to play, which I would say I'm pretty confident he is, but maybe you don't want to risk it because in like the 10% chance he doesn't play, that play is really bad, but I do think he's going to play, and that's another one that jumped out. But I do not have a bet on the Knicks right now, so take that as you will. But those are the 2 bets that maybe would stand out the most to me.
Knicks at home +104 on FanDuel, +1.5 -112 on the spread there. Let's get into this game. You said you have a prop here, so who you got and why?
Yeah, so this is actually a game I've got a bunch of props on.
Okay.
I'm pretty confident DeAndre Hunter's not going to play here. He's hurt. He has a knee injury. I think the Cavs are being careful. I'm doubtful he plays. So the Cavs are pretty shallow behind him. I don't think Sam Merrill or Jalen Tyson's lines are adjusted enough for how likely DeAndre Hunter is going to be out. So, you can play points and rebounds, points and assists. If you kind of don't want to take both over points because it's pretty negatively correlated and just like I know people don't love doing that. I am on both them. They're overs, but like you can take over 3.5 rebounds. I would take the current number -135 on FanDuel, and then you can take Merrill. You could go Merrill over points. I'm just pulling up his line right now. Like 9.5 -104 on FanDuel. That's a good number. I would definitely take that.
All right, 9.5 -104 over on FanDuel. And who was the other player you mentioned here?
Jalen Tyson.
Jalen Tyson.
So he's a second-year player. He didn't get much run last year. He started in the preseason in a game. would. It's not impossible that Dean Wade starts over him, but my guess would be it's Tyson, and he's just going to get a lot of run if Hunter's out. Dean Wade, I don't think is a guy they want. He's been pretty injured in his career. I don't think they want to run him into the ground and play him 32 minutes, 33 minutes in the first game. I think they're very willing to play Tyson a ton because he's young and probably won't figure late season. And they're a tough team because like they're not going to ramp up Lonzo. He's playing 20 minutes tonight. They're not going to play Mitchell more than 32 minutes. Like they just don't care enough for a first game regular season to risk like playing their main guys so much. So I think Merrill and Tyson will get a huge benefit if Hunter doesn't play, and I think Hunter's likely out.
All right. Makes perfect sense. Appreciate that. Thank you for the prop looks. Any other prop looks you have for us here? Any SGP looks as well? Anything else you like in some other games?
Yeah, so in this game I also have Towns over assists.
Okay.
So Towns' assist was, I believe, a career low, or like whatever, last maybe 8 years low last year. Knicks were a super stagnant offense. I've wrote about how I actually don't think that was a massive problem for them, but Mike Brown is very much going to come in and change that offense. He was the Kings coach with Sabonis, and Towns and Sabonis are definitely different players, but they're actually similar in a lot of ways. You know, bigs who struggle defensively at center, who actually are very good playmakers. So I imagine that Towns is going to be in a much more playmaking role this year than he was last year. And Robinson and Hart are out. Robinson was going to start at center. Hart's a playmaker for this team. They don't really have many playmakers either. So Towns over assists. I played it earlier. The -130 I would still play.
All right, -130 you would still play. Towns over assists -128. I see on FanDuel. It seems like whole market's -125 to -130 here. Any other games that you like in terms of props for this massive slate?
Yeah, I would play Nikola Jovic over 9.5, -125 at FanDuel right now. I don't think this is like a banger by any means, but I'm very high on Jovic this year. Miami's playing a bit of a higher pace. They're lacking some ball handling right now. I think Jovic's going to have a huge role for this team. Khalil Ware is hurt, and I'm skeptical of how much Spo is going to play him. So Jovic over 9.5, -125. That's pretty much market right now. So I would take that over.
Yeah, -122 over here at FanDuel. Jovic, 9.5 points, or 10+ points. Depends where you look on FanDuel. Any other things? You didn't really send me a list, so I'm just kind of on the fly right now asking you what props you like. So I don't know if I seem unorganized here, but yeah, anything. Keep firing away. Keep firing away.
Well, just quickly, Shams on Mitchell Robinson and Josh Hart. Those two guys, I think, are a very real chance of missing some real time to start the year. Like, again, just going back to what we were talking about, he's missing real time with load management. Like, makes they don't want to play him for the first month of the season because he's load managing. It's just not true. He's hurt. So it's just really kind of pissing me off that's.
I mean, if you think about it, every injury is load management because most of these guys are gonna like. They really had to. If it was a game 7, they would play through most of these injuries, but they just want to get healthy. It's like the dumbest thing. Anyways,
it's just it's just so silly. I just don't understand why. I just think the league kind of needs to understand how optics look and how things work. Like fans really, you see a lot of outrage from fans about the NBA. I would say more than other sports. And this is just really, I just think it's a really low-hanging fruit that they should be able to. They shouldn't be taking any heat for this. Mitch Rob's hurt. He got hurt. If the coach said he was hurt, people would understand he's an injury-prone player. So, yeah, I just think it's a real mess.
Yeah, seems like it's a disaster. Seems like it's a mess. Well, hopefully not a mess for our prop bets that you gave out.
Absolutely.
This week. Any last ones you want before you head out here? Am I still okay to blindly bet overs on the NBA like we were talking about yesterday over text, or is that a bad idea still?
Well, I told you it was a bad idea then, and it still remains a bad idea.
Okay.
Honestly, you should never blindly bet
Obviously.
essentially anything. Like unless it's maybe Wong teasers, like there's not much you should blindly bet. I do lean overs. I have a lot of overs on the board right now, but stuff has moved. 10 points. So if you're missing the move, then taking it after it isn't exactly what you want to do.
Of course. Do you just step back though? The whole reason why I asked you about this stuff is because do you think the scoring environment, and obviously that's going to be priced in now that we've seen the first 2 games, and do you think the scoring environment early on in the season is going to be like a lot higher than what people were expecting maybe a week or 2 weeks ago?
I think it's plausible. Last night kind of didn't really look like that, so it's kind of a wait and see. Houston OKC was slow. Game was going way under. The shooting was bad, but someone with a lot of money came in and absolutely jammed the under. And obviously he's an idiot because he wasn't anticipating double OT like I was. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. It's something to keep an eye on. Macro trends are always interesting.
Of course. Just got to wait. Just got to get every game to double overtime. Then you can for sure blindly bet over some things anyways. Kirk, appreciate you coming on. What's the newsletter topic this week? Do you know yet, or is it still?
No, I'm going to wait till first 3 games of NBA and see what I kind of want to talk about.
All right.
Or first 3 days of NBA.
First 3 days. Yeah, no, of course. All right, Kirk, appreciate you joining the show. We'll chat soon. You can catch Kirk on the Monday edition of Circle Back, which is live directly after this show. I joined him this week. I think he had some good opinions. Usually does. Anyways, Kirk, appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
Later. Have a good one.
See you, Kirk. I forgot, by the way, I still owe Kirk Starbucks. So, Kirk, if you're still here, whenever you want me to get that Starbucks.
What was that bet again?
It was Travis Hunter to win Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year. I buy him.
And he's going to win neither.
Yes. I buy him Starbucks.
Yeah, I remember now. I thought it hadn't graded yet, but it's not.
It's done. I will happily take the loss on that just to get it out of the way. Those
Starbucks Feta wraps.
Yeah, Feta wraps.
Good. Feta wraps are good.
A medium coffee, tea, whatever drink of choice.
Like $30?
Yeah, $30. But if it won, he was going to take me to the nicest steakhouse in Toronto. So I still think it was a good bet, even though it lost.
It was probably minus EV, financially speaking.
I don't think it was.
How much does the steak dinner cost that place?
Well, I was gonna get drinks. I was gonna run up the bill quite
200 Canadian.
Hopefully more. Was what I was expecting on doing. Yeah.
And the actual price of that Starbucks meal would probably be like $12 to $15.
Yeah.
I'd have to calculate.
Got like 200.
I feel like you did not get.
I think I priced out like 200, 250 to 1, something like that.
Okay. Well, maybe.
Yeah.
If you did the math, hey, good for you. But you still lost.
Yeah. Maybe I didn't do the math well though. But anyways, appreciate you joining the show today. Appreciate you guys in the chat. We had a great viewership today. Great chat. Chat was going off. Colt confirming that Kirk is not as short as he seems on camera.
Everyone says that.
I don't know what he does, but he just makes himself look like a 5'2".
He's a big sloucher. That's the problem. He slouches too much. Unlike the giant me, who's shorter than him but sits upright. So people think I'm tall.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Anyways, do us a huge favor though. Before we head out, smash the like button. Goes a long way for us here on the channel. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button as well. Reminder: tomorrow we have Edgework overtime with Albert and So Money as well. We got Dom decision batting leadoff. Going to talk some NHL big picture now that we're about like a week and a half in to the NHL season. We're going to be talking some World Series stuff as well on the Thursday. Hopefully we can get some bets for you. I think it was in the chat. If you can find Blue Jays plus 200 or better.
E-Colt
release. Honestly, E-Colt should just come on and talk on the World Series. But yeah, Dom Decision going to be talking NHL. We're going to be talking some World Series as well. And then Hitman's going to come close out the show, hitting in that 3 spot. And he's going to talk about the Thursday night football game between the Minnesota Vikings and the Los Angeles Chargers. So excited for tomorrow's show. Going to be a great one. What do we have up next at the Hammer? We have Circles Off.
That's it.
Video coming out today. It's about...
So Rob had a conversation recently on a watch along with Jay Croucher about how you should properly evaluate a handicapper, whether it should be record, whether it should be analysis, other factors that are involved in that. And he kind of gives his thoughts on that in about a 20-minute video. I think very informative and should be a great watch, great listen. So check it out right after this show finishes. It should be up on the Circles Off channel right now, and I'll actually put it in the chat for you guys as well.
Yeah, go click that link in the chat. But make sure before you click that link, you smash the like button as well, because the internet points matter. I know it seems silly, but that stuff does matter for us in the algorithm. So if you want to support the show, make sure you are doing that. And that wraps it up for us here today. This has been the Wednesday, October 22nd edition of the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you right here tomorrow.